Hello, 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 everyone. You guys know this is just my intro. I will have the timestamp. I will have the timestamp below, letting you guys just hop to the content. I'm just like sending out that I'm doing the class and whatnot. So take your time, chill out, grab some snacks if you need any. If you got any questions, feel free to ask them. Twitch, YouTube. All right. Okay. As I said, I will have a timestamp below once I get everything situated. Just making sure that everybody knows I'm starting, so you guys can watch it in real time. So I'm just like getting everything situated. I got one more place to post it and we're good to go. All right, looks like we're good to go. Okay, so I'm gonna do things a little bit different today. I don't think I can write notes. I'll try to write notes, and then I can give them to you guys. But it's just gonna be a little bit harder because of the way that I'm gonna structure this. But I'll try my best. So let me go ahead and I'm just gonna write start. I'll just write. I'll do jungle types because we do want to go through the jungle types first. And then once we go through the jungle types, we'll talk about the jungle pathing. So we'll talk about jungle types first. Let me go ahead, put that there. Oh, I forgot to even have my my chat box on. Control link. Okay. It's kind of different because I stream on multiple platforms, right? So I'll stream on Twitch and then I'll stream on like YouTube, and then YouTube's a little bit different from Twitch, and then all my stuff's connected in one way, so I have to connect it in another way just to stream on Twitch or on YouTube. I do it so that you guys can have this type of content though, so I don't mind it. But that's why things take a little bit longer to do stuff, because I have to like get everything situated through like I have to get all the chats like situated and updated and whatnot. Okay, so let me go ahead and do that again so that way I know. So I'm gonna wave my hands in the air like I just don't care, just so I know for timestamp purposes that we're starting right now. Okay, so timestamp purposes, we're starting right now. Here we go. Pop up that jungle. Boom. All right, jungle types. All right, so here we're gonna talk about jungle types. So we're gonna go ahead and go to op.gg. I guess I could go to u.gg. I think it's a little bit better, actually. So u.gg. Not saying that op.gg is better than u.gg, but I mean, I use it a little bit more. But I'm just saying the thing that I want to look at is a little bit better to view here than it is to view on op.gg. So let me share my screen now. Let me just make sure that we're golden. And feel free to join my Discord, by the way, if you guys haven't. There are some questions that pop up in there as well. So if you guys have the answer to them, or if you guys want to do them, feel free. But I'm gonna go ahead and start now. So display capture, bam! There we go. We set. We in here. So let me go ahead and keep this like that. All right. So let's go ahead and start with like the jungle types. All right. So we got 3 types of junglers. It doesn't really matter what server we're looking at, but we want to look at 3 types of junglers. So we have, and according to your server, if you're Korea, if you're EU, if you're NA, if you're OCE, whatever, there's certain type of champions that tend to do better, which means that each server has their own little play style. It's nothing too drastic. I really wouldn't try to change your play style based off your server, but you'll definitely notice, especially in like higher elos of play, that there's a little bit difference between each server. For example, everybody knows Korea is a little bit more aggressive, right? Junglers tend to go for a lot more plays. NA, for example, is a bit slower pace. We tend to like to farm a little bit. So you'll see more aggressive junglers tend to be a lot better in Korea than it, especially high elo. Lower elo could differ, but in high elo, they're like challenger, they're grandmaster, senior, whatever. You'll notice that champs are a little bit better that are early game there than it is for our specific server. So as a note, that's just kind of something to think about. So we have 3 types of jungle champs. We have gankers. We'll just say we have duelers, gankers. Then we have, we have farmers. And of course, I'll give you these notes post. So, and of course, feel free to ask questions in the chat, by the way. But make sure it's on topic of what I'm talking about. I don't want to like hop backwards to answer a question, but I also don't want to hop forwards to answer a question. So I want everything to be kind of in unison when you guys do ask these questions. So keep that in mind when you guys are in my classes. So we have duelers, you have gankers, you have farmers. Now, why is it important to know that? Why is it important to know basically champions that are good at any of these? Like, well, who cares? Well, this helps dictate your jungle pathing. This helps dictate what your job's going to be. So let's just say I'm into Zac, right? And we all know that Zac is a very gankable jungler. It's a jungler that just likes to gank lanes over and over and over. Well, as a jungler versus a Zac, my playstyle will be different for him than it would be for like a Karthus, right? If I was going into a Karthus, I'd want to invade more. Because I'm going against a ganker, I'd want to counter gank a little bit more. You can invade a ganking jungler too to prevent them from like actually ganking by just messing with them. But that's what you're doing. You're just messing with them. You're not actually like trying to kill them. You're not trying to really take all their camps. You can take them if you want, but the goal isn't the same. So that's why it's important to know which type of junglers you're going to be going against. Also, you have to think about, your laners and whatnot. And I will break all this down. Don't worry. I'm just kind of spitting it all out at the moment. But I will break it down a little bit later. So that's why it's important to know which jungler you're going against. Because it matters how you play. But also, it's important to know which jungler you're playing. Because it'll help dictate how you play. So let's go ahead and go through all the junglers. All of them. Yep, all the junglers. And we're going to classify them. Now, some junglers could be a mix. Some junglers could be only one. Some junglers can be all of them, but we'll go through it today and we'll figure it out. So dueling junglers are going to be, I'm trying to think of a way to do this. What if we do this? We'll have a description of it. So duelers, champions that want to go in and try to kill you. Okay, that's the definition of a dueler. Gankers, champions that want to spam gank lanes to get them ahead. Farmers, champions that want to recycle their camps rather than killing / ganking. So I'm gonna do my best to put this in a way I want to try to list them all, but I don't want to make it weird. So we'll just do like junglers, and then we'll just list them all. And then we'll do it again, and we'll list them all, and then we'll do it again. I want to try to make it not as messy. So junglers, and then we'll list them all, and then we'll do it again, junglers, and then we'll list them all like this. Okay, that way we have the definition, and then we'll have the type of junglers, and we'll space these out just a little bit, so that way it's not too confusing when I start writing them out. All right, so we'll go through and we will do our best to kind of add them as we go. I want to see how we're going to do this. We just go like this. And then, yeah, let's do that. We'll go like this, make it small. And then, boop, we'll do that. Pog. Okay, so duelers. And I'm going to put these champions in the category that they most likely are, okay? I'm not going to, like, say, okay, well, this one does duelist. I'm going to add this to the list. I'm going to add this to the list. I'm going to add this to the list. Like, champions can be multiple, but I'm gonna put them in perspective of what it most likely likes to do. Okay, so yes, there could be multiple, but what it's most likely to do, because when you play League of Legends, you don't know how a player is going to play until they play, but you do know how the champion plays, right? So let's just say, for example, Master use the first one here. He usually likes to farm. Don't get me wrong, but he can look to invade you. He can be a dueler. He can gank, you know, if the game allows it. So he's not locked into just farming. But that being said, you want to play to the fact that he is a farming jungler until seen otherwise of what that guy likes to do. Jungle is one of the roles that tend to change per second of game. You have to, you know, be really, really adaptable. So I'm going to do it like that, okay? I just want that to be clear. So Master Yi, yes, farming jungler. So Master Yi. We have Udyr. Udyr is another farming jungler. But you're like, well, he can gank too. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. He can gank too. Udyr can gank. The thing about Udyr, though, is that he does want to get his camps. If he goes Phoenix, he wants to farm. If he goes Tiger, he want to kind of like try to fight a little bit more. So it's kind of hard to tell which one he's going to do until he does it. But I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, the Udyr players is going to go ahead and try to farm. And then they'll gank. Farm, gank, but they want to try to recycle their camps because they get a lead by having more camps because they farm so quickly. So I'm going to add him another farm. Can he gank? Yes. Can he look to fight you? Yes. But is he going to opt to probably farm most of the time? Yes, unless he gets an opportunity to fight you. So that's what we're going to do. Kayn, farming jungler. Bel'Veth, farming jungler. I know it might not seem like it because a lot of students are like, dude, no way. Shit, he's a farming jungler. Fiddlesticks. You can kind of see the meta, right? All these champions right now are just farming junglers, and yet they're S. Heck. I already knew Hecarim was going to be S after that patch, dude. I literally called it in my patch notes. I was like, this dude's about to be an S. He's about to be super good. Rek'Sai. That is going to be a ganking jungler. Who's next? Diana. That is a farming jungler. Shaco. I want to say that's a ganking jungler. Shaco can do a lot, man. But he's probably going to be opting to gank. Elise, ganking jungler. I was glad to see that she's coming back in the meta. Kha'Zix. That's a hard one. Because he's pretty like good in all of the cases. I want to call him a farming jungler. More often than not, he's going to be looking to reset his camps and get levels, get items. Nidalee is definitely a farming jungler. She can gank too. Dang, like these are some hard ones because they literally can gank as well. You know what? I'll scratch this. I'll make her a duelist. Because she can farm like crazy, but she's not going to AFK and just do nothing. She's definitely going to look for you if she can. If not, she's going to gank. But I'll say for the most part, she will look to go for that kill. Evelynn, 100% a farming jungler. Kindred, that's going to be the jungler that's going to look for you. She's a duelist. Rengar, definitely going to be a farming jungler. Actually, okay. In high elo, that champ's going to look for you. In lower elo, that champ tends to farm. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of Rengar players are going to teach you to just not go for crazy plays. They're going to teach you to be a little bit more passive, a little bit more safe until you got the opportunity to get a kill, whether through farming, whether through like a lane or through invading. So for learning purposes, I'm going to assume you guys are not challengers and you guys are not grandmasters or masters, right? You're diamond and below. So in that retrospect, Rengar would be a farming jungler. He's about recycling this camp until he gets an opportunity to come get you. Nocturne, farming jungler. Zac, ganking. I keep writing it. Zac. Rammus is going to be a ganking jungler. Amumu, ganking jungler. Amumu's really strong right now, by the way. Echo, more of a farming jungler. Warwick is a ganking jungler. He can look for you too. Again, I'm just doing it what they most likely are. I'm not doing it because, like I said, a lot of these junglers can be multiples. but I want to do it for what they most likely played like. You play to the jungler champion, and then based off how the player plays, you play to the player. Mordekaiser's definitely a farming jungler. I don't even know why he's considered a jungler, man. They need to nerf him. Get him out! Vi is definitely a ganking jungler. Karthus, definitely a farming. Shyvana, farming. Skarner, ganking. Nunu, ganking. Qiyana, ganking. I love me some Qiyana jungle, by the way. Talon, ganking. Actually, Talon's gonna look for you. Look, to be real, he'll probably look for you. I'm not gonna lie. He'll gank, but I want to say most Talons, no matter what elo I play in, they typically do try to look for you more often than not. They might fail and just start ganking, but they will try to find you if they can. Olaf, he wants to fight you more often than not. Ivern, ganking. Sejuani, ganking. Lilia, farming. Gragas, ganking. Jarvan, ganking. Xin Zhao is definitely looking for that butt. Talia is going to be... I want to call her more of a ganker than a farmer. I think back in the day, she used to be a farmer. But she doesn't farm fast enough to just do nothing and farm anymore. Pantheon is ganking. Trundle... That's hard. Because Trundles do both. But I want to say they're more active ganking than looking for you. If they find you, they'll fight you. But that's not their goal. They want to definitely just go clap cheeks. Poppy, ganking. Zed, looking for you. That's hard. I want to say Zed just power farms till 6. But he can fight. But he doesn't want to till 6. I'm going to put him under farming. But that one's up in the air. Because he's not really a jungler. Graves, farming. Viego's definitely ganking. Wukong. It's kind of hard because he's not a jungler. Look, he is a jungler. Look, when I say some of these champs aren't junglers, I'm not saying that they're not junglers, but their kit isn't designed to jungle. They're just in the jungle with numbers. Does that make sense? So they don't have a kit that's like, oh, you do this type of junglers. You fall into this category. It's more of like you have the numbers to jungle in terms of like killing camps, but you don't really jungle. So it's kind of hard to be like, oh, you're this, because the play style doesn't match the champ. It's just weird. I want to say Wukong is more of a ganker. He doesn't look for you that often, but he'll try to get gangs. It's like he's not a farmer, and he doesn't. He's like one of those, I guess, type of junglers. I'll say he just wants to farm till 6 to be real, but he can gank. But he doesn't AFK farm. So Maokai is going to be a for sure ganker. With this new update, I definitely want to see how it's going to work. For sure. Because I'm like, I was hyped for the changes. And Lee Sin, he's definitely looking for you. He's a ganker too, but he'll look... Nah, we'll just add him as Lee Sin. Or as ganking. The reason why that we see Nidalee, Kindred, Talon, Olaf, and Xin Zhao, they're not under gankers, is because when you see those type of champions, you kind of already expect them to invade you. When we're dealing with some of these gankers like Rek'Sai, Shaco, it's not like they're gonna invade you. Maybe they will, but it's more often than not, they're not paying attention to invading you. It's more of like, I just want to gank your lanes. Like I said, a lot of these champions can fit into multiple categories. Maybe they're all of them. Maybe they're 2 of them. Maybe they're 1 of them. But I want to do my best to put them into how they're most likely going to play based off you just running into the champion. Once you get to about 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes into the game, you're able to then categorize like, oh, you're going to be invading me a lot more. There's times where I go against a Shaco that just hardly invades me ever. Then there's time I go against the Shaco and they're always in my jungle. So it is different, but I will say I run into a lot more. They're just going to gank lanes and they invade me. So that's what you kind of got to think about it when I'm categorizing this. We're doing it based off of what the champ usually does, and then from then on, we'll see how they play in game. So these are the duelers, these are the gankers, these are the farmers. I would expect them to have more like champions that are just looking for you, but I guess that's not really a play style that players usually do. I guess. So now that we've mapped out what junglers tend to do, now we want to think about how they play and how you play against them, right? How does this affect pathing? Because understanding what champ you're playing, also what champ you're going against, helps dictate how you path and what lanes you're going to go to. So let's go ahead and hop into the Rift Kit here. Well, not Rift Kit, is Wicked.gg. I'm sorry. There is a site that's like this. It's called Rift Kit, but this is Wicked.gg. I don't want them to. I don't want you guys to cross over the sites because, you know, I want to give credit when credit's due. All right, so let's just say we're playing a farming jungler, and as we see, these are our farmers, right? So we'll say we're playing Fiddlesticks. And we are going against what's an invading jungler? We are going against a Kindred. We'll add Kindred in the mix here. All right. So as a farming jungler, and people don't usually play how they should play a lot of the times. So we're going to say unearned ego. I like that phrase. Wait, huh? What do you mean unearned ego? So we're gonna basically say that a lot of the junglers, Fiddlesticks is weird, because the way he paths isn't normal. So, but for the sake of argument, we're gonna say he's gonna path from bottom to top. All right. Okay, we'll just use Karthus, man. Forget it. Fiddlesticks is one of those junglers that Fiddlesticks mains will be like, "What are you talking about, coach? That's not how we path." So we're not even gonna go on that level. Okay. We're just going to use Karthus. All right. So knowing that we're going to get invaded, if she starts bottom, she's going to do this, and then she's going to come get us. So then you have to think, why path top if we're going to have to run into her? Because let's just say that our mid laner and our top laner are weak champions. We'll just say we have a Kayle mid, and we have a Vladimir top. And they have a Renekton. And I don't know if Sylas is in this, updated to be in this. Okay, he is. And they have a Sylas. There's no way that you're going to be getting assistance, because these champions can't fight these guys one-on-one. So you're putting yourself in danger, not only because you're pathing to a side that's really weak, so they can't help you if you need it. On top of that, you already know that she's going to invade you. So why would you path from bottom to top? This is why learning what jungler champs that you're playing versus, you know, and understanding what junglers they're playing helps you path differently. Okay, well, not only you guys are weak, you know, we could scratch out the fact that they're weak, right? Let's just go back to the jungle matchup itself. You're going to invade me. I suck at fighting early, so I'm going to path away from you. Boom. That way when she checks, she's wasting time, there's nothing there, she doesn't get anything, and you end down here, right? And if she decides to pop out for a gank, well, then you could just go ahead and try to look for camps in her jungle. The name of the game when you're playing a farming champion into an invading champion, or something that has kill pressure, is to avoid them. Now, let's just say, okay, I get that, coach. What if I'm playing a champion that likes to fight? Maybe I'm playing a champion that's pretty good at it. So let's just say we're playing Nidalee. Okay, Nidalee can fight too. Okay, coach, now what? Would I still path away from her? Because I want to fight her too, right? I want to be able to invade her too. Well, no, you wouldn't path into her. Why would I not path into her though? If there were to be a fight 1v1, or if there was a fight where she invades, or you invade her, we're in the same situation. Your laners are not the type of champs that like to fight early. So yes, you can invade. Yes, you can fight. Even if that was a Karthus. Kindred was Karthus, right? We could just put her as Karthus right now. weak. Why would I not want to invade him? Again, your laners just will not rotate. They can't. If you have a 3v3, you're going to lose because those champions do not win. So although Karthus is weaker than us, it doesn't matter. Laners are going to dictate what you can and can't do. This is why jungle is so complicated, because it's not about, oh, I just go gank lanes. It's not about that, right? Which is why a lot of low elo players don't like it. When you get into higher elo, there's a lot more junglers. Why? Because they understand how jungle works, and you can impact the game tremendously by playing jungle correctly. But if jungle is played poorly, your role sucks. Especially if it's dictated by champions like this, right? Well, coach, I want to go invade. I want to get kills. But my laners don't rotate because they're weak. So if I'm a low elo player, I don't play off of that. And then that means I can't ever kill him. I can't invade him because I always keep invading him on the side that my teammates can't help me. In high elo, they'll try to make it so that either you kill them and get out before they rotate, or you wait until you know that you can go in. Maybe their laners are backing, they're low, really low, right? And they can't rotate, or else they're gonna lose waves, or they're gonna get killed because they're too low. Then that's a different way to go about it. So yes, that is why a lot of times people find jungle so hard, jungle so frustrating, is because the way that you play it is dictated by your laners. It's not dictated by your champ. It's not just dictated by your matchup. It's also dictated by your laners, right? If you're a ganking type of champion, but all your laners are just like farming champs, how do you play? If we're playing Zac, and we know that these guys can easily 2v1, how do we play? It's all based off that. Was reading comments in this YouTube video was hilarious and depressing. I think all of League comments are hilarious and depressing. Yeah. All right. So that's how we would play as a farming jungler into like a ganker. So actually, let's just go over how we would play in general. So if we're playing a duelist, right? Here's a typical path of being a duelist, right? Typically, you're not going to full clear. Typically, your path is going to be a 3 camp. So we have 3 camp clears, you have 5 camp clears, and we have 6 camp clears. I can also link my guide in my Discord. So you'll get the notes from this in my Discord, but I also have like a jungle guide written out that you guys can like look at, and it'll help sync it together, what we're talking about today, plus that guide, okay? So how will we path with a jungler, or with the invader? Like I said, usually you will 3 camp. You're gonna go red to blue to Gromp. Nidalee's kind of an exception because she clears so quickly, she can full clear and look for that invade way faster than an enemy jungler can like clear a lot of the times. So we're just gonna use Trundle, actually. Let's just say we're gonna invade with Trundle, just because he's simple. We're gonna go for red, we're gonna go to blue, we're gonna go to Gromp, and then we're gonna go invade. Why do we 3 camp with a champ like Trundle or like Xin Zhao? Like, why do we 3 camp with those, or like Kindred, and then look to invade? Why don't we just like full clear or something? Well, these type of champions clear slowly. These type of champions don't have multiple. They don't have AOE spells. They don't have area of effect spells. So if we think about something like Karthus, he puts this little bubble up and he pops it, and it's an AOE. So he clears a lot quicker because he has the ability to AOE clear. Trundle doesn't have that. So if I were to full clear into an invade, I'd be late. I'd be really late. So this is why we do that. So we have a 3 camp clear into an invade to find them in the enemy jungle. You have another option. You can 1 camp clear on red side, and you can just straight up go invade him. You can go ahead and pop over that blast plant right there, do his wolves and wait for him to walk up, and then just straight up kill him like that too. It's another way you can do it. So you're looking to either 3 camp clear into invade, or we're looking to 1 camp into a cheese. That's how we would work with these invading type junglers, or these junglers that can 1v1 pretty easily. Now, let's say, well, I found out that the jungler is starting top side. What do I do here? Well, you could either start top side too at the same time. That way you end in the same spot as they do. Or what you could do is, if you know it's a full clearing jungler, you can go ahead and go red into just straight up running into their jungle. Because if it's a full clear jungler like Karthus, we'll add him up again. If it's a full clear jungler like Karthus, right, he's going to go from red to Krugs. And you know this because full junglers or full clear junglers like to full clear. So you're gonna go ahead and do his Raptors, or you're just gonna wait for him. And once he starts Raptors, you pop out. Kind of the same cheese, kind of that same tactic there, where we do one camp and just try to kill him. I would probably opt to doing 3 camps clears though into an invade, unless you know for sure where they're gonna be, and you know for sure you can kill them. So you're gonna be able to basically limit test that though. You'll be able to the more and more you do it, the more and more you'll figure out which champs you can and can't kill, like that. Okay? So that's your goal as a duelist jungler or someone that wants to try to fight somebody. You're going to 3 camp clear into an invade to get them, or you're going to 1 camp clear into a cheese and try to kill them there. Whether it be bottom or whether it be top, okay? Cool beans, cool beans. All right, now we're gonna think about, well, how do you play as a ganking champion? Trundle's kind of a good example of a ganking jungler as well, because he'll do the same thing. So you can either look for the invades or he can gank. I didn't classify Trundle as a duelist just because most Trundles do not look for you like that. I'm going based off what they usually do, but again, a lot of these junglers can fit into multiple categories. Trundle mains will probably look for you, but people that are playing Trundle that aren't one tricks will probably won't even think about it. Okay, so now it's like, okay, I want to gank though. All right, you have 2 options. It's kind of the same as an invader if you think about it. You can level 1 cheese, so you can go ahead and get red and cheese a lane, or you can 3 camp into a gank. So 1, 2, 3, gank. Like that. So pathing matchup wise is more important when you're a duelist. It's more important when you are trying to fight the person, right? Flip side, pathing matchup wise is more important if you're the weaker jungler and you know you can't fight them, but you know they're gonna come get you, right? So usually your pathing when it's jungle matchup related is dictated based off if you can kill them or if they can kill you. Another way it's going to be related to pathing is if you're going against a ganking jungler. If you're trying to counter gank them, or if you're trying to be on the opposite side because you know they can counter gank you, and if they do, it's going to be detrimental. Again, that one's situational. But the main thing you'll think about jungle matchup wise is going to be, can they kill me? I need to path away from them. Can I kill them? I need to path with them. Boom. Easy, easy. When we're talking about ganking junglers though, now we're looking more on the level of which lane do I path to. Not more or less who can I go kill, because you can't kill them. Like we're playing, like, let's just say Zac. At this point, right? So we're Zac. At this point, we're not about to go in and just straight up kill people. We'll just make this jungler not something so weak. I mean, even if it is Karthus, it doesn't really matter. But we'll make it Kha'Zix. Nice and simple. Not too crazy. Not too nuts. So Kha'Zix can invade us as a jungle, as a Zac. We are weaker. So you gotta be a little bit careful, but it doesn't mean path away from him because you're scared. It's not that bad. So let's go ahead and just add laners. Like, let's see, I don't know who we're gonna add bot lane. Oops, did not mean to open up Discord. Speaking of which, join my Discord if you would like to. All right, so we're gonna put bot lane here. We're gonna say we have an Aphelios. I've been playing a lot of Aphelios lately, so we're gonna add that to our bot lane here. And then let's go ahead and say we have a Seraphine. Why? Because I just seen her next to him. All right, and then they have a Samira. And then they have a... Nah, we're gonna make this way simpler, just because. We're gonna say they have a... We're gonna reverse it. We're gonna give him Caitlyn. We're gonna give them Caitlyn. Okay, so Kate. That's such a painful lane for an Aphelios. I'm not even gonna lie. Aphelios, and then we're gonna say Taric for some reason. All right, that's the lane. Oh my lord, I would just not like this at all. All right, so we're playing Zac into this. Now, this is where we get into the how do you know which side to path to? Well, think about it. Look at these lanes. which lane? I'm gonna open up my toolkit here, actually, or not toolkit, but my pen. All right. So, which lane do you guys figure is going to be winning based off of this? Right? It's fairly simple. Why or who's going to win? Caitlyn and Seraphine. They're going to just perma win this lane no matter what. Why? Why would they win? Well, Caitlyn's really good at harassing. She's a poke type of lane champion. And then they also have Seraphine. And if you're like, well, I don't really know what those champs do. How do you know if you win then? Well, two ranged versus a melee and a ranged, they're always going to lose, no matter what. Now, does this mean that 100% of the time Aphelios and Taric will lose? No, Taric can make a play where he stuns him and like maybe Aphelios gets a cool kill off of it or something like that. But we don't play to things like that as a jungler because we like to play to what's certain. We like to more of 100% type of things. It's more often than not that Caitlyn and Seraphine will win this lane. If it goes to crap later, well, then we got to deal with it. But for the most part, they should win this lane. So does that mean I can gank this lane? Probably not. Why? Because it's a jungler. We should know how this plays out. It's going to look more like this. And the only time we gank this lane is going to be if we can dive them. Only time. Right? Or if we counter gank Kha'Zix. So in order to dive them, they have to be low. Is there a high probability that they're going to be low? Maybe. Maybe. Is there a high probability that Kha'Zix is going to gank bot? Maybe. We don't know. We don't know. But we do know they should win. Okay? So if we start the game and we know that Kha'Zix started bottom, what's the probability of him always ganking bottom? Pretty slim. Why? Because he's always ending topside. So the only real way that he can gank bottom is going to be coming out of base, ganking, then clearing up. And then he plays topside most of the time. Meaning he's looking for you, he's going to gank mid, or he's going to gank top. And a lot of times you'll see the enemy jungler pathing incorrectly anyway. Kha'Zix should be pathing from top to bottom for the reasons we just described. Right? His laners will be winning. So how am I going to gank? Well, if they're low, or if Zac ganks. So, like, again, he shouldn't really be pathing towards top either. So you can kind of see why if you path properly, you kind of just win most of the games anyway because the enemy jungler has no clue what they're doing. So what I would do if I was Zac is I would put a ward down whenever I can, put a ward somewhere in there. So that way we know where Kha'Zix is because they're going to auto win lane anyway. As long as they don't get ganked, this is going to be game over for bot lane. That's our goal. Now if we look at these two lanes, these are going to be auto losing lanes like that. Most likely. I'm here, coach. Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you, Edgar. All right. So, I mean, again, if you guys have any questions about any of the topics we're talking about, please feel free to just pop them in the chat. Like I said, respectfully, I would like for you guys to ask questions about what I'm talking about. That way we don't get too ahead of ourselves and I don't have to go back. We can revisit those questions later on into the stream. Okay. So, oh, I should change it to jungle pathing, actually, now that I just noticed. Instead of jungle types. Are we still in? Nah. I mean, I guess it's all interconnected, actually. Nah, I should change it to jungle pathing. I'm griefing. I just started it, though, so it's not like we're too deep into it. But I definitely am going to have to find that timestamp spot where I talked about it. All right. So, again, we know that our lanes are going to be looking like this. And we already know that these type of champions can 2v1, right? If we think about it, although that we're going to be having losing lanes, what type of champions like are these? Is Vladimir and Kayle a type of champion to it's 390 or 39? Okay, cool. Wait, I've been streaming for that long. Holy crap, I have been. Okay. Whew. So again, This is Kale and this is Vladimir. What type of champions are these? Right? These are going to be farming champions. These are champs that I don't really care if I get a lead because I don't use it. I'll wait. I'll get stronger later. As a jungler, you need to know this. So when we think about it that way, if these are champions that don't really like to do anything, they like to just chill out and farm. If we could just make sure that they're safe, we're good to go, right? So in a particular game like this, where would we path to? We have to make sure that every lane is safe. So then where would we path to? How would we path? If we know that bot lane's going to win, and the only way that they're going to lose is if they get ganked, and we know that mid and top are always going to lose, where should we path to? Should be bot lane. Why? Although Kha'Zix, for some reason, is pathing top, it doesn't make sense to path with him because they're losing anyway. Yeah, we can prevent dives, but if they get dove, like, it's not 100%. Like, they can prevent being dove by just backing and not being at 0 HP, you know? So if we path the top, we don't really have anything to do. But if we path towards bottom, we can look for dives because we know that they're going to be low because it's Caitlyn and Seraphine, right? We might not 100% have them low, but it's more often than not because those type of champions do keep them low. And we also can protect them from Kha'Zix if he decides to path properly and path down. We can protect them from being ganked by counter ganking. So our job this game would be to let mid and top suffer because these champions do scale and make sure that Caitlyn wins this lane by being down here most of the time. That's how we would path with this particular ganking jungler. Now, how do you know which champions like to win, and how do you know which champions like to scale? Like, how do you know? Like, how do you know what champs do to snowball? If you don't know what champs do, how do you figure this out? A good way to think about it is which champions are more annoying at which part of the game. If you ask any top laner, when is Renekton annoying? When is Renekton like a pain? They're going to say laning phase, which kind of signals he's an early game champion because he's really strong. If we say Vlad, well, which part of the game is Vladimir a pain? For you or for anybody? It's going to probably be mid to late game because that's when he's strong. What part is Kayle a pain? It's going to be late game. That's when she's strong. What part is Sylas? Well, he's super strong early. Okay, so he's an early game champion. These are champs that need to snowball, right? So that's a good way to figure it out. If you don't know what their kit does, if you don't know how they function, a good way to think about it is when are they usually a pain for players? That's an easy way to figure out if they're a mid-game champ or a late-game champ or an early-game champ, okay? So that's how we would go with that. Now, ganking junglers, like I said, typically path off laners. They don't path off of their jungle matchup for the most part because they don't care. Now let's go ahead and talk about the. Let's make it this way. Let's go ahead and let's get this what if out the way real quick. All right. Well, what if? Let's just say, what if it's Darius? What you just said makes sense, but what if it's Darius? Do I still play the bot lane? Because doesn't Darius need to snowball? Wouldn't it be good if I snowballed him? We don't really know who's going to win this lane. This is like a skill matchup. It's not really like a one and done type of lane. So it could go either way. But you just said I need to play towards bottom. Well, let's think about it this way. Which lane is going to win? Top or bot? Well, you just said that top is volatile. It can go either way. But we know that Caitlyn and Seraphine are going to win. So how do they lose if they get ganked? So I can't be on bot side and top side at the same time. You can. The way that jungle works, you usually want to play it like this. Oops, I'm trolling. You usually want to play it like this. 80-20 is what I call it. You play to one side 80% of the time, you play to the other side 20% of the time. Because bot lane's going to probably be safe, or not safe, I'm sorry. Because bot lane is going to win, most likely, we don't want to play down here if we know that we can turn the tides of top. Top isn't decided. It's literally either way. So we want to make sure we turn that tide by going. That way that we don't have to rely on our top lane to actually be good. We could just gank him, he's fed, problem solved. So we would play towards top side. That means 20% of the time is going to be used down here. The 20% down here is going to be used to farm. It's going to be used to counter gank. It's going to be used to ward. After that, we're done. So let's put it in perspective. Okay, well, I just got done recalling. I'm out of base. Cool, I'm doing my Krugs. Do you guys need me bot lane? No, you guys are good? All right, cool. La-di-da-di-da. Maybe I go ahead and put a ward down for you guys. I put a pink. Put a pink ward down for you guys, maybe like in that bush. Whatever, maybe a green ward. Whatever, we put some type of vision to make sure that Kha'Zix isn't there. Okay, and then we kind of la-di-da-di-da-di-da. Let's go ahead. Do you need me mid? Nah, you're chilling? All right, you're losing per usual. It's expected. He's not low. They'll probably turn on us. You're getting your CS. I don't really care. Good job. La-di-da, do my Raptors. Do you need me, bottom? Nope, you guys are good. You got the wards. All right, I'm out. Peace. Oh, your bot needs me. Well, it sucks. I was spending 80% of my time up here. So you guys are going to be... I pinged you. I have it warded for you. I'm not going to turn and make my pathing all the way back down there to help you. Now, if they're going to get dove, it's a different story. You might need to, like, you know, do that. But based off this scenario of, like, these champions, there's no way that they should be getting dove because they should be winning. They should be under the tower. If we see Kha'Zix, we pick him back, but we're not there to counter gank because we need to help that Darius to get fed. So a lot of our time is going to be spent here. A lot of us going to invade if we're going to steal camps, ganking if we're going to gank, whatever we're going to be doing, we're going to spend most of our time here. Do you need me, Darius? I'm at Wolves. Nope. You need me, Darius? I'm at Blue. Nope. You need me, Darius? I'm at Gromp. Nope. You need me, Darius? I'm done. Nope. Okay, I'm gonna go ward. You need me, Darius? Nope. Okay, I'm gonna go. Okay, I'm done warding. I'm done stealing camps. You need me, Darius? Yep. Okay, here I come. You see how much more you can do being topside than you could being bot side. This is why we play and spend most of our time to one side. A lot of players think, well, I need to help my lanes. No. You can't help everybody. They're going to all flame you. If there's one of us in 3 lanes and we can only be, and there's 2 sides, you can only help 2 players or two lanes. You can't help 3. You're going to be flamed when you play jungle. It's just inevitable. People just don't know how to react. Jungle is one of the roles that you can tell if someone's doing bad. The other 3 you can't. It's just, or the other like 3 lanes or 4 roles, I guess. You can't really tell it unless you physically see it. Top and mid are solo, so nobody's going to blame them for playing bad unless they die. And then as bot lane, you know, the only person that's going to notice it is the jungle, or is the ADC or the support. It would apply if the bot top scenario was reversed. Yes, it would. So if top was an auto win lane, we would then play the bot side because the bot side is a teeter-totter lane. Or let's just say if it's not a teeter-totter lane, or we know that top wins, we would still play towards bottom because... like, let's say, you know, if they had the Caitlyn and the Seraphine and we had the Taric and Aphelios, it's going to be an automatic lose lane, right? So it's going to be something like this. Well, we just say, let's just act like Kha'Zix is the Zac in this scenario. We would play towards this. Because we already know that our top's going to be winning. We reward for the top, and then we play towards bottom to get them winning. Because we know that they're going to lose. We need to help them out. Okay? So, yeah, exactly. It'd be the same if it was reversed. So that's how we would path based off the scenarios of jungling. When you're jungling as a ganker, your main objective is to... your objectives kind of fall into this category. Make sure my laners are safe. Are there any lanes that are volatile? I need to be ganking those. Are there any lanes that are going to lose that need my help? In this scenario with Kha'Zix, bot lane is going to lose, but it is a scaling AD carry. It doesn't really matter if he's behind because he will scale. Also, Kha'Zix is more of a I want to get fed anyway and kill everybody, so it's kind of different with him because if he gets fed enough, he'll just carry the game by himself. If we were Zac in this scenario instead of Kha'Zix, then ganking bot lane isn't really beneficial for me because top lane is still volatile. If bot lane gets fed, it sucks, but Aphelios scales, so it doesn't matter. Whereas if top gets fed and Darius rolls over my Renekton, we don't have a top laner no more. Okay, so we have to do that. All right, let's add in one more what if to the scenario. Okay. All right, coach. So what if we'll just flip them? So we'll just do this. Don't mind the color. But what if we're playing a Samira lane? You know, what if it's a Samira? Right? If Samira loses, we lose the game. I mean, we don't have an AD carry. She needs to win. If Renekton loses, we don't have a top laner. He needs to win. What do I do if two lanes need to win and they're on both sides of the map? How do we make this happen? Because by your logic, whichever lane loses, we just don't have a top laner. This is why jungle sucks. Because you can't be everywhere at one time. Right? That's why jungle sucks. And this is why jungle is like an issue a lot of the times. In higher elo, players know to respect the laners and just wait for you. Lower elo, your Samira and your Taric are going to look for plays and probably die. Your Renekton is going to look for plays and probably die. He could have waited for you to clear your camps and gank him. It was that easy. But he's going to look for a play and probably die. So now you're not on a I'm ganking a lane for a specific reason type kick at this point. You're like, dude, I need to gank you before this time bomb blows up and you start inting, right? So now we're in a really, really sticky situation. What you have to think about now is like, if I give Samira a lead, is she going to win this lane by herself? If I give Renekton a lead, is he going to win this lane by herself? By herself? Yes, I think both would successfully pull that off if they got a lead. The next question is, who's going to carry this game harder? Is it going to be my Samira or is it going to be my Renekton? Who is going to hard carry this game? Look at their team comp. We have Darius, Kayle, Kha'Zix, Caitlyn, and Seraphine. Samira's ranged. Renekton is not. They have traps. They have, I mean, Samira's kind of melee too. Don't get me started. I know, don't worry. They have traps. They have peel. They have kites. If we get Renekton fed, the best he can do for us is split push. If we get Samira fed, she can really take over this game. She can help us. Because we have Samira fed along with Taric. So, like you just said, LL for the win, it's going to be the Samira. We would play to that. Once Samira gets rolling, then we path top and try to help this dude. But we do not, I repeat, we do not play to both lanes at the same time. You need to just trust that your top's not going to end until you get bot ahead. Once you give Samira 1 or 2 kills, man, then work your way top. Cool. Then we gank him. Bam, bam, shamalam. We got 2 lanes winning. All right, coach, what happens if I give the Renekton a kill, or if I give the Samira a kill, and then they just like start losing still? Then what? Then you say screw them, they suck. If you give them a kill and they can't win without help still, then they're not good enough players to do anything with a lead anyway. And this is where we get into the territory of flaming. My jungler doesn't help me. My jungler sucks. Jungle death. If you can't carry with 1 or 2 kills I just gave you, bro, you're never carrying if I give you 5 or 6 or 7 or 8. Like, this is a free lane for you to just auto win if I give you a kill. So we ignore. And we try to put all our eggs into that Renekton and that Sylas at this point. We have to. Because there's no other way we're going to win. Ideally, we want to play to the Samira. You're right. But if Samira acts this way, and if Samira's just not good enough because she's first timing Samira, we can't play to her. So we have to play to top side. Pray that Sylas and Renekton can stomp this day in Caitlyn, and we play off of that. Okay? So that's what happens when you are in a situation where there are multiple lanes you need to gank to get them rolling. So, last but not least, we're going to be talking about the farming jungler. And I will have these notes in my Discord for you guys if you guys go there. So the definition for a farming jungler is champions that want to recycle their camps rather than killing or ganking, right? So rather than invading. I'm actually going to change that. I'm not killing. I'm just going to change it to invading. Because I think that makes more sense. If you didn't watch the stream and you looked at my notes, it'd make more sense of what I'm talking about. All right. So how does this work? We're going to make ourselves... I guess the most notorious farming jungler like Karthus. I mean, not Karthus, I'm sorry, Kayn. That's like the most notorious farming jungler ever. People just know he's going to farm. There's no fancy buts. So, how do we play this lane, or how do we play this game if we know that we're a farming jungler? Let's just say, we're going to make this the actual worst game possible, actually. We're actually going to leave her as Caitlyn. Hold on. We're going to make this like the worst game possible. Because I feel like if I could teach this worst game right here, you guys will be able to easily learn the easy games. Why is this not giving me bot lane? Am I missing something? Why is it only showing junglers? Oh, because it's selected still. I'm trolling. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna make him Kayn. Check the plays, check the plays. Don't worry, we got this. You'll see what I mean. We'll see. We're gonna make this the actual hardest game ever for this jungler. That way you guys can learn. Because like I said, if you guys can learn the hard way, you guys will definitely learn the easy way. We'll just make him Sylas. Oh, you know what? We're gonna make this dude a Azir. Oh boy, this is gonna be a hard game. All right, let's make him a Azir. All right, and then you're gonna keep top lane Darius. I'll reach out in a sec. Let me just finish putting these champions in. Ooh, we're gonna say Gangplank. Oh, Lord Almighty. Okay, and then we're gonna say that we have a. I'll just say Samira. That's fine. I think we can keep her that. Samira is like are so inty. I feel like Samira is either int or they don't. It's not like in between. They run it or they don't run it, dude. Where's the Thresh? Alright, in this example, no Thresh, no Thresh. This Kayn is a ganker for form. He clears fast to gank. Okay, so yeah, he is definitely more of a farming champion. Let me make this a different champ too. What's a good jungler? I think a Mumu. Yeah, we'll just... Nah, we won't say Mumu. We'll say like Pantheon. Oh, Lord, this is a hard game for him. Okay. Whew. All right, so based off everything that we've learned so far, we'll start off with the jungle matchup. What type of jungler is Pantheon? How do I get rid of the ward? Whatever, we'll just move it. So here's the cheat sheet. What type of jungle is Pantheon? With this cheat sheet that we have. Warwick is not good enough. We need to make this game really hard. Warwick, Kayn loves to go into Warwick. Trash? Wait, what? Pantheon's actually a good jungler at the moment because he's so aggressive. So Pantheon is he's a ganking champion, but he does like to find you. One thing you'll notice about League of Legends and their players is they might not be good at exploiting players unless it's obvious. Let me say it again. League of Legends players, at least the lower brackets, and we're talking about anything diamond below, that's going to be the area I'm talking about. Those players generally do not take advantage of someone unless it's obvious. With this Pantheon into a Kayn, it's obvious that Kayn is not going to be able to fight Pantheon. It's blatantly obvious. If it was a Master Yi, it's blatantly obvious that you can't fight me. So I'm going to invade you. Now let's put it this way. If that Kayn were to be an Udyr, what are the odds Pantheon invades the Udyr? Yes, Pantheon kill Udyr. But is it obvious? No. So is he going to do it? No. So a lot of the time when you kind of play the things like that, you have to realize I'm that weak of a champion. Azir's that weak of a champion. I'm probably going to get invaded. Point blank period. So based off what we learned, what side do we path to if we know that we're going to get invaded by Pantheon and he's starting red? We'll have to start top. Your jungle matchup comes first when you're playing a farming jungler. Now you might be like, well, I need to get form, right? And I can only get ranged form if I path bottom. True, it is what it is. But would you rather take a little bit longer to get your form, or would you rather be dead? There you go. So, when he paths towards top, you're going to be pathing towards bottom. When he tries to invade you, you're not going to be there. And one thing we know about Pantheon, he's not a full clear jungler. A lot of ganking junglers and duelist junglers don't typically full clear. So if you see him on a ward, maybe you have a pink, or you see him go for a gank on that guy, you can go ahead and snatch his Raptors, and you can snatch his Krugs. Could you look for a gank? Potentially. You could. But you got to see if it's worth it. And I'm not going to say it is worth it. I'm just going to say you recall, and you do it again. You full clear. Same scenario. When he recalls, he's going to do this. Whatever he does, he's going to look. Maybe he's looking for ganks bottom or something. Whatever. I don't know what he's going to do. But we clear. We do our thing. If he pops out mid, after he notices your camps are gone, because you're going to have his camp timers once you invade him. You'll have his timers when they spawn again. Once he ganks mid or something and he walks back up, thank you. You can look for a gank. If not, recall. You can even look for a counter gank. Maybe he's then going to gank top and you just got your items. Look for a counter gank. Boom. You get your form. All you did was clear 2 times. You counter gank. Your level 6 is level like 4 or 5. You counter gank. You win. You just snowball. You just won the game right then and there. All you did was farm. This is why farming junglers are typically better now at this point, because there's a lot less error for mistakes, especially on NA. We love farming champions because you don't make mistakes when you farm. You just wait for things to happen and you just get kills. You win the game off of that. But then why would we not play towards our laners? Right? GP is OP. He could just W and pop barrel. True, but Kane's Kane. So, I mean, why not? I'm sorry. Let me put that back. I thought you were saying that, like, Kane can't gank a GP in terms of, like, he can't kill him. But GP's on our team. But you typically wouldn't be able to win a 2v2 if you started it first. You'd have to wait for him to gank. This is what we call counter ganking. As a farming jungler, usually you can't start a gank and then have the other jungler show up because you're probably going to lose. You kind of have to wait. And so one thing, like what is one thing? Okay, there's not one thing, but what are some things that you guys think farming junglers have in common? What can they all do? I'll put the list up so you guys can see it. What is something that farming junglers all have in common, mostly? They scale. That's huge. Yep, they can scale up and just win the game by themselves. They're their carries, basically. Yes. A lot of laners don't understand this concept, so they tend to be mad. But yes, all of them have the potential to straight up carry the game. Why do I have farming here? Who was this supposed to be? I need to change this. I forgot what champ that was supposed to be. Who's after? Was it Diana? It was Diana. Late game? Yep, he said it's scale. That's late game. What else do they have in common? What are farming champions usually good at? What are they usually good at? Like, what do farming champions do better than duelists and gankers? Fast clear. Huge, right? They all can clear fast. Huge, 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 huge. They all can clear fast. They scale really well, and they all can clear really fast. Right? That's something that they all have in common. So when we think about this, they're not particularly always the best at ganking. Every champion in League of Legends has like a level or an item spike where they become their champion. Usually, most often than not, champions tend to get their identity at a certain level, whether they have it at 1 or they have it at 9, they have it at 11, they have it at 18. Okay, that's very rare. There ain't no champs that scale at 18. But usually they have their identities at a certain part of the game. And so when you see a Kayn, when is a Kayn's identity? Like, is it a level thing? Do you think Kayn's level matters? Is it an item thing? Do you think his items matter? When is Kayn his identity? When does he really become his identity? It's his champion kind of hints to when it happens, to be honest. But when is his identity really coming out where he can play the game now? right? For him, it's going to be his form. Point blank period, it's going to be his form. Yep, it's his form. Exactly. All these farmers, they all have an identity at a certain point of the game. Master Yi, I want 6 more often than not. Udyr, I want 4. He wants items. Like once he gets items, he's good to go. I'm not gonna lie to you. Diana, I want 6. Belvath, I want form. The little thing, you know. Fiddlesticks, I want 6. Hecarim, I want 6. Diana, oh wait, I already wrote her. Wait. Then who was that supposed to be? I need to find out who that's supposed to be. Kha'Zix, I want 6. Evelynn, I want 6. Rengar, I want 6. Nocturne, I want 6. Echo, I want 6. Mordekaiser, I want 6. Karthus, I want 6. Shyvana, I want 6. Lilia, I want 6. Zed, I want 6. Is it Graves? A little different. I want items. But all these champions come online when they want something. If we think about it, a jungler like Rek'Sai, when do they come online? 3 abilities. Shaco, when does he come online? 3 abilities. Elise, 3 abilities. Zac, 3 abilities. Rammus, 3 abilities. Rammus, 3 abilities. Warwick, 3. You kind of see the form here. There are some champs that come online at 2. Udyr is actually one of those champions. He can go bear into tiger. That's 2 abilities. He's good to go. Right? Far as Nidalee, Kindred, and Talon, and Olaf, those are champions that come online at 3 as well. So some champions come online at 3, some champions come online at 2. A good example is Alistar. He comes online at 2. He doesn't need 3. Another good example is Leona. She comes online at 2. She becomes Leona at 2, right? And so understanding this type of thing doesn't help just with your champion, but it helps with you ganking people. If I know that my champion comes online level 2 and I can go for a gank, why wouldn't I do it if it's free? And they're level 1. If I know Leona is going to be a champ level 2, why don't I wait for her to get level 2 before I pop out and gank, right? Again, knowing these little tidbits of things is huge. Huge. Which is why a lot of junglers are successful after they hit a higher elo. Because jungling's hard, man. What champion was I looking at? Udyr. It's supposed to be Kayn. That's who it was supposed to be. All right. So yeah, your typical pathing as a farmer, as a farmer, you want a full clear. Boom, 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 boom. We're done clearing. We want a full clear, and we want a path away from champs that can kill us. If the champ can't kill us, it's fine to path wherever you want. Path to the lane that you're going to path to. When can I go for ganks then? You go for ganks when you can get kills. You don't go for ganks to try to help because you can't. There's no setup for Gangplank. There's no setup for Azir until 6. Samira, she, you know, they have a stun for you. Don't get me wrong. You can go for that gank. But the point I'm trying to convey here is that you're not really looking to gank people if your champ isn't good at ganking. I always put it into perspective of like, if you were to weightlift, right? Me personally, can I bench press 200 pounds? No. Why the heck would I try to do it then? Is a Kayn good at fighting a Pantheon level 2? No. Why the heck would I do it then? That's my point. Do not make your champions do things that they can't do. Yes, Sylas is going to whoop Azir's butt. Can you do anything about it? No. If I gank him, Pantheon pops out, it's a wrap. So I have to let him suffer. You got to mute him. He's going to flame you. Gank my lane is always overextended. Wham, wham, wham. Bro, you have no setup. You have no damage. I have no setup. I have no damage. Pantheon shows up. We're both dead. You don't want that because then you're going to flame me if I gank you and it goes to crap. You're going to flame me if I don't gank you. I don't win with you, but mute him. Nothing you can do. That's something that as a jungler, you really got to get down because a lot of the junglers that I coach, if you guys want coaching, coachbooking.com is where you want to go. If you guys are interested in coaching, and if you're on the fence, I do have an option. You guys can try it out, see if you guys like it. Back to the point. A lot of junglers that I coach tend to be baited by their team because they're constantly being pinged or they're being, like I said in chat, like gank my lane. Laners don't typically know when the lane is gankable. Let me say this again. Laners typically don't know when a lane is gankable. What does gankable mean? Hardest lane, low elo is jungle. True. What does gankable mean? You have to have certain things to go into perspective if you're going to gank. Right? You need damage. How long is it going to take for me to kill Sylas if I was to gank Sylas and he was up here? If I'm level 4, I just got done clearing, I don't have no items, and I come in here, he's not going to die in one shot. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Die in one shot. This means that Pantheon has enough time. He has enough time to run back, and Pantheon has enough time to rotate and come in for a counter. Because you're not killing him quickly, right? Do you have a CC to lock him? Is he going to be sitting there, or can he outplay? Think about it. Kane's damage is his W, his Q, both dodgeable. Azir's damage is his spears, dodgeable, like his soldiers. So does he have ability to outplay? Yes. You don't have damage. You don't have a way to lock him down so you can do your damage. Can he escape? He doesn't even have to fight you. Can he just run? Yeah, just dash out. So, is this lane actually gankable? Even though he shoved up? No, it is not. And a lot of the times, players will get baited to going for a gank that will not work. I'd get baited too. Even if I'm smurfing, I'll get baited sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. You know, sometimes I get a little bit too friendly and be like, hey, I'll gank for you. And it doesn't work. So, it's just something to think about, okay? You gotta, I would just go to get my passive up. Nah. You would still wait. You don't need orbs early. The later the games go, the later the game goes, the faster he gets his orbs. So let's just say you come like 3 or 4 times to get orbs, and then you get your form. Potentially, you could just clear, and then gank top one time and get your form off of one gank. So why would you waste that time that you could be used doing other things? Trying to get your form, you know? It's hard. I get baited to getting form too, because it's hard to think about it that way. But that is how it works with him. They actually encourage you to farm. So, yeah. So the gank timing, the ganking is like something that a jungler just only knows. So you can't get baited to go for a gank if you know it's not going to work. They put themselves in that position. They put themselves in that scenario. If you are a ganking jungler, it's a little bit different. You need to pressure. You need to make sure it happens. If you're a dueling jungler, it's a little bit different. You need to be in the jungle trying to stop Kayn from farming, right? You need to make some stuff happen so he doesn't get to that point, right? So the last thing that we're going to talk about here today is going to be, how do we play against them, right? How do we play and counter each one? So now that we're done with jungle pathing here, do you have any questions about jungle pathing before we move? We're going to name it I don't know, to play against jungle. That is a very long title. Good Lord Almighty. I'm gonna try to make it smaller here. What do they call this? How to play against jungle types. It's gonna be a short segment, really. I'm actually gonna write this in my notes as well, so we're gonna be having these notes. I don't want to say jungle type counters. That's a little bit misleading. So we're gonna talk about how we play against them, and then we're gonna talk about how to. Actually, we can just move this into the practice tool. Let's go ahead and do this. We can move this into the practice tool. So, oops. It doesn't really matter what like runes I built. All right, so we'll start out with a duelist. We'll start out with like something like Xin Zhao. Okay, so remember, there are certain champs that come online at different levels. Can Xin Zhao fight you at 2? Yeah. I mean, he can, but does he really come online at 2? No. So would it really be a good idea for you to risk it? No. It wouldn't be a good idea to risk it. You want to go for kills that you know are for sure. You might as well just hit 3 real quick. And then that way, if you don't find the jungler, you're able to make a gank happen or something like that. Like, it's better that you don't risk it all if you don't have a probability of actually making it happen. So. I just realized I have a Xin Zhao skin. I could have used it. I think I have a Xin Zhao skin on this account. All right. Still need to get that secret agent skin. Yeah, that skin is hot. Okay. So, it doesn't really matter how we start this. We're just going to go. We're going to put the timer up 30 seconds. Oh, wait, I forgot. We just spawned the camps. I'm like griefing. Oops. Okay. Here we go. So, like I said, there's a lot more going into when you're pathing. So if you guys are curious about your specific champion or curious about your specific games, like I said, I urge you to book a session, and that way we can get down to the nitty-gritty. I'm just glancing over it, basically. So when we're pathing and we're looking to fight somebody, we want to play in a way where we can get to the enemy champion ASAP. If we know that they started bot, then we're going to path up. If we know that they started top, then we're going to path down. So we're just going to assume all things went well. Actually, you want to start E with Xin Zhao, not W. I was just kind of autopiloting. But you want to go E. You want to go EW, then Q. Unless you're looking to make a play at 2. So we're just going to clear. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. Actually, don't even need to clear. But for demonstration purposes, I will. Alright. Okay, we get this done. Cool. Get that done. Bam. Alright. Now that we're level 3, or we're supposed to be, we have options. If we're against the Karthus, we know that he should be clearing, right? He should be clearing pretty big, so we are going to go ahead and try to find him on red. You should be able to clear 3 camps before he clears 4. So we can sit here. What I personally like to do is I like to sit here. Because a lot of junglers, especially weaker ones, they'll go ahead and do this. Oh, you're not in there. Okay. Or they'll do something like this. And then drag the buff in. Like that. And then if they're kiting back, they'll kite back into you. And then continue to kite like that. So it's a way that you just don't get spotted until they're low or close to being done. Really good thing that I think you guys should learn. So once he's there, then we can just kill him. Boop, kill him. Thank you for the buff. I appreciate it. Mine. You could probably then go ahead and take his camps top 2 if you would like to. Thanks to the camps. Mine. All right. And then what you're going to do is you're going to continue to play like that. Right? So now if we took both of his camps, what is Karthus' play? He has 2 options from here. Well, he has 3. Well, he has 2. As a farming jungler. He could do some weird stuff. And he could do some weird stuff. And like, I've seen it. But realistically, he has 2 options. They're going to be, I then go to my bot side and try to clear up again. Or I'm going to go bot and look for a gank. Or going to go bot and look for the crab. Those are kind of his options. He's not going to... As a farming juggler, he probably shouldn't even be ganking. But like I said, I've seen some weird stuff. But his options are going to be, I'm going to clear again or I'm going to look for that crab. You knowing this, you need to play to that. Okay, you're going to clear that or you're going to look for crab, huh? All right, I'm looking here. Don't even hit this. Don't even hit that. Just walk in. Boop. Oh, hey, Karthus. Bam, 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 bam. He's dead. Boop. All right, and then you go check his camps. Oh, your Gromp is still up. Mine. Okay. Now you got another 2 options. You can either look for a play or you can try to look for him again. If I'm Karthus and you just killed me, I can assume you took my camps. So what am I going to do? 2 options. I'm going to go top and just farm the side that I can. I'm going to go into your jungle. So with that theory, do we gank or do we just leave? You can go ahead and leave. It doesn't matter. You can probably cross over gank mid if you want. Boop. What's up, mid? Clap, bang, 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 bang. You got a free kill. Now Karthus is scared. He's going to assume like you're going to come get him. So he's going to have to play a certain way. He's not going to go for crab if he just seen you cross river. He's dumb. So you can go find him again. And you just killed mid. Hey, Karthus, thank you for that. Oh, bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang. You know, he's running away now. He's running away. Thanks for the camps. Your camps are gone. Good luck. I'm going to leave a little raptor for you too. Have fun with that. Now, he took his bot camp. You screwed up his top. He's done. It's game over for that champ. Just off of pathing properly. Understanding what he's going to do. Getting into the head of a farming jungler. Right? What options do they have? Let's go ahead and do the same thing. And we're going to do it with a ganking jungler this time. So we're gonna reset the game, and we're gonna act like we're playing against like a Zac. Probably the best thing to say as a ganker. Doesn't really need pots because I'll just heal myself. Remember jungling like that one time as a practice to see if I could? Felt horrible for the enemy jungler. Yeah, it's disgusting. But that's their fault for pathing incorrectly, which is why you have to path properly. Okay. So, spawn the camps. We're just going to hit level 3. Oh, I guess 4. Alright, same thing. I'm going against a Zac now, and he's starting blue. Okay, if I'm against a Zac, what does Zac usually do? He kind of full clears. Right? He's not a champ that's just gonna, I mean, he could 3 camp gank. But I've seen a lot of Zac full clears. So we're gonna assume he's gonna full clear. He might not, but we're gonna assume he does. So we're doing our thing, We do our thing, and we're gonna follow him, basically. Because when you're against a ganking jungler, your best bet is to counter gank him, so he doesn't like go crazy. And the best way to keep tempo is going to be follow what he does. So if he's gonna full clear, you do all your camps too, right? We do all our camps, You could 3 camp look for him, but you're probably not killing a Zac. To be honest with you, it's not happening. He just runs away, unless you catch him slipping. It's just not gonna work. So I got done, got in full clearing like him. Look for the crab. He's not here. Well, what are the options? Zac has 3. If I'm done full clearing as Zac, well, not even 3. If I full cleared as Zac and I did my krugs, I have 2. We're either going to gank top, or I'm going to go for this crab. He's not going to gank mid because he's on krugs. You have to walk all the way down the mid. It'd just be weird. He would have just ganked after Raptors. So now you're in his head. Right? Because now we want to fight. Oh, you're going to get ganked. Oh, Darius, you're pushed up. Let's just go ahead and do this. You know? Oh, Darius, you're trying to fight him. You're fighting him, yeah. Zac sees this. Yes, he does. Why would we pop out? Let's just wait. Zac then comes in with his little stuff. He pops over the wall. Bam. You ping on my way. You wait for him to run kind of towards you. Maybe a little bit back this way or this way. Okay, once he does that, boom. You pop out. What up, baby? You didn't expect me, huh? Bam, 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 bam. Boom. You know, double kill. Maybe not double kill. Probably just 1. Or you got their flashes, right? And then you recall. He's going to recall if he's low, right? What is that going to do after he recalls? 2 options. He's going to go back to clearing, or he's going to gank pot, right? This is why we monitor lanes, because we can see what's going to happen. Based off the state of this lane right here, based off this state, our team is shoved up. He's definitely going to gank this lane, right? So if I'm Zac and I'm coming out and I'm low, or I just, would I do my Gromp when I know this is a free gank? Or would I just go gank it instantly? He's a ganking jungler. They're gonna prioritize ganking over the farming. So as a jungler that knows this, what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna chill. We sit in the bush, scan it, make sure it's not warded. We chilling. You got your allies. You got your enemies. Leona goes onto your support. I mean, onto your AD, whatever. Zac flies over the wall. They start chasing a little bit towards you. Bam! You pop out. You do your thing. Whatever you plan to do, and you get a kill or maybe a double kill. And then Zac's like, dude, or the enemy team's like, dude, jungle diff. Zac's like, how do you know where I am all the time? Because I know what you're gonna do, bro. You're a ganking jungler. If a lane looks gankable and I'm on your side, I know you're gonna gank it. I'm gonna be there to respond. That's how you deal with ganking junglers. You cannot play against them the same way you would play against a farming jungler, because ganking junglers don't care. Zac is good if he gets his lanes ahead. Rammus is good. Like, these junglers don't need gold. They just need to get their lanes ahead and they win the game for them. So the way you prevent that as a jungler is to make sure it doesn't happen. The last one here that we're going to talk about is going to be a duelist, right? So something like Xin Zhao. We kind of already discussed it. There's not really much to go into it. because we know that a duelist is just looking for you. So it's kind of not really much to talk about as a farming jungler. You just path away. We talked about this already. Darius can 1v2 with the wave. Depends on the jungler and depends on the other top laner. If it's like Udyr and Renekton, Darius is not 1v2. It just depends on which champions they are. If it's Zac, you probably pull off a 1v2. Probably. So let's just say I'm a farming jungler, right? And I want a full clear. That guy's playing Kindred. Okay? I'm pathing away from him because I seen Kindred's going to start red. So I'm doing my full clear. I'm on my wolves. Cool, I'm doing my thing. We walk in. We're doing our thing. Oh, crap. Kindred then walks up. We'll just put a ward. That's Kindred. And I'm on my blue buff. I need help. Press tab real quick. You have only 12 CS. And you have red buff. But no blue buff. So if you have 12 CS, and you have red buff with no blue buff, what is that signal? That signal she did 3 camps. But if she has no blue buff, she didn't do it. We 100% know she didn't do blue buff. And if she didn't do blue buff, we can assume she didn't do her wolves and her grunt. I don't know what Kindred plays like this, but hey, it is what it is. So, okay, no, go ahead and take that. What do? We walk down to her buff. And we take her buff. Put a ward. I don't have any. Put a ward. And we just take her buff. She can't be in 2 jungles at one time. Well, 4, I guess, because there's 4 quadrants. She can't be in, like, all of them at the same time. So give it up. It's okay. Don't try to fight for things you don't need to fight for. As a farming jungler, you're not looking to fight. You're not looking to have things defended. You're looking to just get farm wherever you can get it. So in that instance, we would just let it go. And we would go take the camps where we can. Then we take the blue buff, whatever. Kindred might know. She might not know. She might not know. A lot of times, junglers don't know what's going to happen. Is she's going to take your blue, and then she's probably going to gank top. Sucks to be him, but we're a farming jungler. We don't do anything. Now we see her at top. We take all 3 of her camps. All of them, right? At that point, we recall, and we go ahead and do our Krugs, because we start our bot side. Oops. Once Kindred comes and see all our camps are gone, she's like, what the F? What do I do? She's going to either A, look for you, or B, look for a gank. She cleared her camps top. Or she can go top. And get her camps. In which case, you clear. You do your thing. After that, you'll notice she went top. Her camps are probably going to be spawning after you're done. So you can just go take her camps. You can try to take your camps, see if she's there. But I would probably just opt taking your camps because they're or her camps because they're invading junglers. And what we call this is cross mapping. Cross mapping means that we have like kind of low-key a mutual agreement. You take my blue side, I'll take your blue side. As a farming jungler, you get what you can get, you take what you can take. If that's how we have to play, that's how we have to play. Eventually, she's going to screw up, and you're going to be like 3 or 4 levels ahead of her because she's too busy kind of messing around. But that's how you do it as a farming jungler. So that pretty much concludes our class today. That was a pretty informative class. I'm glad that we had it. We're going to call this questions now. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to put them in. While you guys are asking your questions, if you have any, I'm just going to explain the proper way to clear camps. Because I know some people do struggle, especially with harder jungle champions that don't have sustain built in. So, all right. So, typically, when you're doing red buff or blue buff, you want to hit, back up. Hit, back up. Hit, back up. Basically, as you notice, he's taking 2 autos while I'm only taking 1, right? Hit, back up. Hit, back up. Hit, back up. It's way better than doing the camp. It's way better than doing the camp sitting still. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and start over. And we're going to basically clear that camp without moving. And then we're going to clear that camp while moving. Okay? So we're going to do. I'm still iron. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. All right. So you usually get a leash, but this is going to be me explaining it. So this is us doing it. And you'll usually see this type of play in lower elos. Lower elo you go, the more players tend to be unhealthy. Higher elo you go, they're usually full HP all the time. So this is just me clearing the camp while sitting here. Hey, Coach, looking forward to working with you Sunday. Yeah, I am too, man. I am too. Okay, so we ended this buff at 165 HP. Also good to see you. I'm going to stream on Twitch after this. I'm just doing my class. So 165 HP is what we just finished this buff on No Leash, No Smite. Let's reset the game one more time. And we're going to spawn camps. And we're going to do it the way that I just taught you guys. Okay? Information usable at any elo. It is true. It is true. All right. Remember, we want to hit twice. We want to get hit once. 1, 2. I'm going to use my E. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Oh, I messed up. 1, 2. Go ahead and dash. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Oh, I messed up again. 1. Oh, I messed up again. Still messing up. Still messing up. Keep doing your thing. Keep doing your thing. Still messing up. Now we ended a little bit higher. We ended 171, but I messed up quite a bit, right? I messed up quite a bit. So you can already see, even with me messing up over and over and over again, I'm still higher HP than just sitting there doing nothing, right? And so that's what you want to think about when you are clearing. Like I said, usually you're getting a leash, so you're never going to have this issue with the first buff. But I do see it a lot with the second buff, quite a bit. I see a lot with the second buff, and I see a lot with jungler champions like Rengar or Rek'Sai or Kindred or Nidalee. Like these type of players that play these champions tend to get really, really low in lower elos than they do in the higher ones. So it's like I said, I messed up quite a bit, but you're not going to be put in that situation. I guess a better bet would have been just kind of demonstrating it on the blue buff there, because typically this is where you would see the difference because you have 2 abilities instead of 1. So you would do the same thing. 1, 2. Try to go in. 1, 2. Okay. You see kind of how I moved it across with me as I was like turning. So I get hit twice, but I'm using that second hit as a chance to kind of move around a little bit more. When you're casting abilities, you can't really call it a 1-2 because of the simple fact that your champ is like, you know, casting the ability. But even with no HP, I'm able to do it like that. I promise you, if I do that same thing with this and I don't move, I'm going to die. And I have the same amount of HP. We'll even heal up just a little bit to the same kind of HP that we had before. All right. I'm not going to move. And we just disable. I'm going to use the abilities, but I'm not going to move. And we had the same HP as we started. That right there shows you the difference between sitting in one spot and moving around. Because I wouldn't have died. But probably barely lost any HP if I would have just moved around. That's why it's important to kite. I want to show that with the other monsters too, and then I'm going to conclude the stream, okay? So this one, a little bit different. The way this one works is you kind of can't kite, but the way that you want to kite it is you have to, he has a ranged attack. So when you're playing ranged champions, you can't really kite this monster. Let me be real with y'all. But if you're playing a melee one, you can kind of go about it. The way you want to go ahead and kite it is after it's done spitting at you. It's after that moment. Because then he'll start walking. If you time it wrong, he's going to hit you anyway, like that. You see the difference? So he hit me anyway, even though I was kiting back. So it's after. If you're ranged, like I said, you're probably not kiting it because you guys both auto-attack the same range. For wolves, a little bit harder because they move quicker. So the thing that you usually do with wolves is you line them up. And you kite into the direction you want to go, right? So a big difference between sitting still in the pit and kiting to the direction you want to go is because you're shaving off time. You're shaving off time. Raptors, the way that you want to do it is going to be Same thing. It's a little bit harder with raptors, but you can still do it. What do you mean if leash doesn't enable? Wait, huh? Wait, I missed, I think. You just keep lanes pushed and go to their weakest side. It's what they do. Cash just push. With the Krugs, it's the same way. There's a little tip. If you kind of walk between like this, the little Krug can't hit you. I don't use this that often, to be real with you guys, but, you know, do what you do. I just kited both of them around. But if you're playing a champ that, like, I don't know. I don't really ever use it, to be honest with y'all. It's just one of those things you learn as just being a jungler. But you still kite them around, and you kind of have them walk. And you're good to go. Because you heal. Whenever you do damage and take damage, you actually heal up a little bit. So if you're kiting, you're allowing yourself to heal a little bit while also not taking damage. You can kind of see that exchange can make you relatively the same amount of HP throughout the whole entire camp. What do you mean if leash doesn't enable to kite? Oh, you just eat it. You just eat it. You can't do anything. You just eat it. You can't kite it. So like if like your teammates are like leashing you and they're like melees like Alistar, and if you kite, they get hit, you kind of just eat it. You can move a little bit, like that, little micro steps, but you kind of got to just eat it. It sucks, but it is what it is. If say support decides to tank to save HP for you and doesn't move, oh yeah, you just attack it. The easy jump attack it. The easy just attack it. They're tanking, so it doesn't matter as long as they don't make it reset. Yep. You kiting to yourself healthy. Hate Raptors. Using Big Krug in between us for like try hard level of staying healthy. Yeah, I don't even see challengers do it that often. Even on hard champs. What's to do if Syndra throws Yo, that sucks. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That sucks. But it is what it is. We just gotta... Okay, that's actually a good question. It sucks, but it's a really, really good question. So... a lot of champions that tend to clear. Let me reset the game here. That's a good question. A lot of champions that tend to clear with AoE, like Kayn, stuff like that, Evelynn, they can start Raptors or Wolves. 100% of the time. So I'll give you an example. I'll start W with this one. I don't have a leash. She threw my buff. If I do the buff, I'm gonna take so much damage. It's not even worth it. But if I start Raptors, you see, I'm not really taking too much damage, and I can hit my level 2 quite easily. This is with no potions. And then you do your buff. That's how you would counteract that. So does that help? If you are a single target champion, you may have to just start Gromp. You can start Wolf. You can start Raptors too. Let me do it. You can start Raptors too. Don't get me wrong. It just takes forever. So if you're like Trundle, so I'll just use my Q as an example. You would never start Q with Zenzel, but this is just an example of a single target champion trying to clear with no leash on a multi camp. So like that. All right. And similar, you do the same thing. But like I said, I recommend Wolves or Gromp if you're a single target champ, because it's a pain to do these Raptors by yourself. It's a real pain. You see what I mean? It's just really hard. So a prime example would have been just doing it. Prime example would just doing your Gromp. So a little bit easier for you. On top of that, it does heal you. I don't even have the I don't have the machete. No wonder why I'm taking so much damage. But whatever. You just do your Gromp, get your level 2. And you're still healthy. Kayn 2-tapping Bird since creation. Actual facts. And then you have your 2, and then you go ahead and do what you need to do. So, if you're leashless, if your team doesn't leash you, if your buff gets stolen, if whatever reason you're level 1, and you have no leash, you will do your Raptors if you're multi-target champion, Wolves if you're multi-target champion, or Gromp if you're single target. You could do Wolves single target, but it's just it's up to you, honestly, what your pathing is going to be. Usually, if you're a single target champion, you don't clear wolves, raptors, or krugs anyway. Your first clear, so but it really comes up to that. Syndra was following me around in Spellbook and switched to Smite. Oh, okay, that's just show. You can't really do anything about that. I've had that happen too, unfortunately. All right, guys. It was a great class. I'm glad you guys learned a lot. We streamed for quite a long time today teaching. My classes are usually, we usually are an hour-ish, maybe an hour 20. So we definitely went an hour 40. I think next class we're going to focus on how to lane properly. So we're going to go through all the roles and focus on kind of how to lane and just kind of the basics of that. You know, how like your trading should look like with your champions, how you should be stepping, stuff like that. I don't know if I should break them into multiple roles. Like, okay, well, this day, this class is top, this class is mid, this class is bot. I think I could just do all of them at the same time. But well, I'll think on it and I'll see. But yeah. If you guys like coaching, of course, CoachBucket.com is where you want to go. If you guys would like a trial coaching, if you're not sure coaching's for you and you want to try it out, see if it's something you could do, there's an option for that on my site. Please make sure that you're serious when you do these. You're gonna have to fill out a questionnaire, and that questionnaire is what I'd use to determine if it's worth even going about it. Also, there are limited spots, so like, please, if you're not serious, don't take it from somebody else. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. Peace. Late. Have a good rest of your day or night, and I will talk to you guys later. I'll be streaming on Twitch today after I'm done uploading this video. Peace.